A long time ago, there lived a man named Orpheus. He was not a warrior nor a king, but his gift was greater than sword or crown. Orpheus was a poet, a musician, a weaver of sound and soul. When he strummed his lyre, rivers paused in their current, birds fell silent in the trees, and even the wind seemed to hush, just to listen. One day, beneath the golden light of a quiet grove, Orpheus met Eurydice, a dryad, a forest maiden with eyes like morning dew and a laugh like spring. They fell in love, as if it had been written in the stars long before they were born. Their love was simple and complete, the kind that fills up the world until nothing else matters. And so they married, surrounded by flowers, their vows whispered beneath the trees. Joy was everywhere, but fate, as it often does, had other plans. Soon after their wedding, Eurydice was walking in the fields when tragedy struck. A snake, hidden in the tall grass, bit her ankle. The venom spread fast. Her laughter fell silent. Her body grew cold, and with one final breath, she slipped from the world of the living and into the shadows of the underworld. Orpheus was devastated. His music, once full of light, became filled with longing and despair. He could not eat, he could not sleep, he could not live in a world where she no longer walked. So he made a choice few dared even to dream of. He would go after her. With nothing but his lyre and the weight of his grief, Orpheus journeyed to the gates of the underworld, the realm of Hades, lord of the dead. Mortal men did not enter there and return. But Orpheus was no ordinary man. Beyond the gates, a black river stretched before him, the river Styx, boundary of life and death. On its bank waited Charon, the ancient ferryman, whose hollow eyes had seen centuries of souls pass. Charon, who never broke rules, stood still, staring. Orpheus said nothing. He only played. The notes whispered across the water like a breeze that hadn't touched this place in ages. Charon's bony hands tightened on the oar, but he nodded once, slowly, and allowed Orpheus to step into the boat. As they drifted across the Styx, the darkness deepened, but Orpheus kept playing. Then came the low growl. Cerberus. The three-headed hound of Hades rose from the mist, each snarling head hungry to strike. But Orpheus didn't falter. He played a lullaby, soft as moonlight, each note weaving through the air like a dream. Slowly, Cerberus's heads lowered, one by one. The beast lay down beside the path and closed its 6 eyes, fast asleep. Finally, Orpheus stood before the cold throne of Hades and Persephone. Shadows curled around them, and the silence was so deep it felt sacred. Still, Orpheus said nothing. He played. The music told his story, how he loved Eurydice, how death stole her away, and how he had nothing left but her memory. His fingers trembled, but the song never faltered. It was a plea without words, a cry from the soul. And for the first time in eternity, the king and queen of the underworld were moved. Persephone's eyes shimmered. Even Hades, the stern lord of death, looked away for a moment, troubled. When the last note faded, Hades spoke. "Take her," the god said, "and lead her back to the world of the living. But do not look back at her, not once, until you both have crossed into the light." Orpheus nodded. He turned, and they began their climb. He could not hear her footsteps. He dared not speak. The path twisted through darkness, steep and long. Every step felt like 1,000 years. But still he walked, the thought of her behind him keeping his heart steady. But doubt is cruel. What if it had all been a trick? What if Hades had sent him alone, laughing from his throne? What if she wasn't really there? The light was so close now. Just a few more steps. And then, he broke. Orpheus turned, and there she was, Eurydice, his beloved, reaching out to him, her face filled with love and sorrow. She had not yet crossed into the living world, and because he looked too soon, she began to fade. "No!" he cried, running to her, but it was too late. Her spirit was pulled back into the darkness, like mist dissolving into the night. He tried to follow. He begged. He pleaded. But the gates of the underworld were shut. This time, forever. Orpheus returned to the world above, but he was never the same. He wandered alone, singing songs filled with heartbreak and beauty. The animals still listened. The trees still leaned close. But his heart was empty. They say he never took another lover, that he swore off all women, for no other soul could ever match hers. In time, death came for Orpheus, as it comes for us all. But some say that in death he found her again, that in the quiet halls of the underworld, their souls were reunited, and this time there was no need to look back.